Today I will show you a little bit about our Jira, about our SECMENDO.connect Jira, which is the Jira connector for our IDM system, and how this will work, and basically how an example scenario would look like. Our scenario is that we want to create a user and also give him a permission in an administrative environment. So we won't go down to the project area, which we could, but we will stay on a more high level. Yes. Yeah, for that I already created a little demo video, which I will play now. In our video, we start on our Jira interface. This is the administrative interface, and what we can see here is that we have 3 users. One of them is my colleague IdM, and what we see here is also quite important, because this connector is capable of accessing cloud versions as well as data center and Jira server versions. As you might know, Jira is available in multiple versions. One of them is the the Atlassian native cloud environment, which behaves slightly different from your typically Jira system that you might know from your server environments. We have a few different possibilities what we can do and what we can't do. And here's a good example where a difference is. In our normal on-premise versions, so data center or server, we would be able to actually register the user. That we give him a password and decide everything beforehand, which is not possible on the cloud. That is for reasons that Atlassian introduced. And basically they say, no, you're not allowed to just register the user with any email address, so we would spam him to death with emails. But you can only invite the user, and then the user has to actively push a button, which is the approve the registration button, set his password, set some more data that he can maintain, and then he is able to start cooperating in our Jira environment. Yeah, and as we can see here, I sent an invitation to my colleague, but he didn't respond until now. Well, we will have a talk about that later. But yeah, for our scenario that's quite good, but because here we can see how it will look like in a few minutes, because now I will invite an additional user over the SECMENDO self-service UI for IDM. For that I changed to the SECMENDO. I already prepared the request for that. In the background here is a multi-stage request, but to make this a little bit shorter, I already approved until the last step. And we only need to approve one more time so that everything is done. As we can see here, we have our Jira testnet user. And what we will give the user is the administrator's privilege. Yeah, and now I just hit approve as usual. And now we have to wait a bit. Because of some trial runs before, here I will refresh the UI multiple times just to be sure that I really did the final abbreviation. Yeah, okay, but now we are back on our Jira's administrator view. And what we have to do here is refresh this a couple of times, because as most of you might know, the IDM just takes some time to basically send everything it wants to do to the backend system. Yeah. but I think this will be over in a few seconds because 1 or 2 refreshes and we should be good. And here it is. There we see our test user who has a dummy email address I created beforehand so that we can see this invitation process that I mentioned before. But as we can see here as well, he does not have the administrator role as of yet. Reason for that is simply that you first need to create the account as usual and then assign any additional privileges. Here we see, as soon as we refresh once, the privilege is there and everything is as we would have expected it. And now to finish this little demonstration, we'll take a look at our trash mail program, which should give us the emails which are here. And I could follow this link now to finish the registration for this user, which I will not do because I won't need this user in my test environment any longer. So, thank you for listening and goodbye.